And by the way, she picked up a lot of these tips from the different courses that she took here at SIT at one particular time too. It was pretty amazing. Very impressive stuff. It caught the attention of Health and Human Services in Washington, D.C., as a matter of fact. I'm hoping I can get Maria into the class and talk to us a little bit more about this. But do you see the difference? The needs of a particular county. Okay, that's one level. But what you're trying to get is the next level of sophistication and power that has to do with problem statements, linking it to society, the greater needs of society and so forth. And so what you're looking to do in your project design, you may not get there, but what you're looking to do is go through this assessment, looking at context, situation, and mission and so forth, focusing on people's needs. And yes, maybe this is all the further you can get in terms of kind of the power of your design in doing your needs assessment through collecting data, surveys. Again, the techniques are in your readings and so forth. But what you're trying to do is get to that next level of problem identification, where you're actually able to establish a more generalized statement of the undesirable condition that's going to be there, it's going to be everywhere, that affect people negatively in the future that you are going to deal with. Got it? Okay. So let's leave that. So that's the differentiation between needs. It's the level of power associated with this and sophistication. You can also probably see how great that is going to be if you get to the level of problem. If you're able to state your problem succinctly and powerfully, you're going to be able to write a very strong proposal that's going to attract funders like crazy, because what are they all about? They're all about helping people, not only locally, but trying to solve problems, societal problems at a wider angle, a broader context. Hey, this is great not having to take questions too, by the way. I just keep talking. So there's one positive thing about this snowy morning. Okay, finally then, as we'll wrap up, is that I'd like for you to also, as you're doing your needs assessment, looking at context, situation, mission, you're going to be looking at all the different techniques that were set out in your readings, normative needs, felt needs. A couple things here. There's the term called EMIC. Some of you may already know that. There's a term called EMIC and a term called ETIC. E-M-I-C, E-T-I-C. These terms mean an EMIC need is a felt need from the people themselves. All right? EMIC is the feelings of a particular person, or a localized feeling that is coming from the person themselves. It's an anthropological term that, as a trained anthropologist, it was very helpful for me to position myself as a participant observer, to be able to differentiate between what is being told to me from the perspective of the person doing the talking. That's EMIC. ETIC is your observation, the outsider's observation, an authority's observation about what they think they see in a particular context and the situation. So you could ask people, the felt need, the people themselves, they'll tell you about their context, they'll tell you about their situation, and they'll tell you a little bit about how they feel about the mission is of the organization that they work for. Also, you can ask others outside, U.S. government, World Bank, the UN, whomever, depending on what level you're working at. There's literature driven about that context, that situation, that mission. Got it? So ETIC is outsiders looking in. EMIC is the felt need within. So another way that was said is that you have normative needs, felt needs, the EMIC needs, and then something called relative needs, the need in one area in comparison to the need in another community, relative needs. So if we were talking about the trauma survivors of Franklin County, the power of that came from not only the normative needs, what we know about trauma survival, how women and children, people feel, felt needs, but also the statistics that are out there about what they look like comparatively with other communities around the world and so forth in the United States. Okay, so as you're down to brass tacks though, you're in the context, you are working with people with surveys, with interviews, with chat, looking over their literature, looking over their budgets and so forth. Again, this is all based on trust. You're trying to endear yourself, work diplomatically to have them open up, the stakeholders open up as much as possible so you can do an honest needs assessment and not just listen to the director say, no, I want to build a 10-story apartment building for Westgate Housing or whomever it may be. One needs to watch that. You need to somehow finesse your way back to being able to do an honest needs assessment where you're looking at who the people are, good definitions there. There's, what is the situation? When does this situation occur? Where are we in the world where this situation occurs? And then we get into, okay, how much is needed here quantitatively? Again, a lot of this is in your reading as well. And why does this occur? Why are we looking at a particular situation? Does it relate to need? Or can we see that it relates to something more basic, more fundamental problems? All right? There is much more to cover than that, but what I'm trying to do is we're going to load this up on YouTube in parts and sections. So we can only do it at about 10. If you've used YouTube before, you can only see that you can only get like 10-minute segments at a time. So let's get this up there. Hopefully it will generate some questions. It will hopefully keep you covered for this week. As I said in my emails, if you are not on a team right now, work with one another and see if you can establish a new team. If you're running into a lot of difficulties, let's talk with McIvan Rogers or myself. And I look very much forward to seeing you next Monday. Make sure you have your self-assessment form completed. And if you've got some, bring your stories about your organization. I will have a sample of your introduction and your background and a needs assessment in your box. So you'll be able to look at that. You can also look at some others that are online on the Moodle site as well in a folder. And look forward to seeing you next Monday. All right? Thanks very much. And have a nice day. Everyone should be out sledding, I guess. Thank you.
Okay.